Willkommen bei Passives Einkommen mit Peer-to-Peer. Und heute gibt es den zweiten Teil der Mitarbeiterinterviews von Bondora. Wieder eine Menge Input von leitenden Angestellten und wie immer bin ich natürlich auf dein Feedback gespannt. Deswegen schreib das unbedingt unter dem Video in die Kommentare. Und ansonsten abonniere den Kanal und wir sehen uns beim nächsten Video. Und nun ab zu den Mitarbeitern.
Working at Bondora for about 3.5 years now, and the main goal for me and my team is to make sure that we have new motivated people joining us who actually want to work at Bondora, and that the people that we currently have want to kind of stay here for the long run, and that they keep learning, that they're actually engaged with their work, not just going through the motions.
Yeah, so for example, we just saw a new employee today.
Yeah.
So for example, you go introduce him to everyone today, or what do you do for a new employee so that he gets integrated into Bondora?
Yeah, that actually starts already in the recruitment process. Okay. So before he even gets to the office for the first working day, then he has actually gone through a whole series of different steps where he already has gotten to know most of the team.
Okay.
So the new employee today is actually from Russia, and he's already been to our office. He's visited, he knows the team, he's gone out with the team, so it's not just like office scenario. We actually take the candidates out, they get to know the team from like this unofficial angle as well.
Yeah.
You're going to spend most of your waking time with these people. You want to know what you're going to get yourself into, especially if you're going to go and relocate to another country.
Yeah.
So he already knows actually the team pretty well. And yeah, the first working day is you kind of get around this office and do a lot of reading on different like procedures that we have set in place in Bondora, and there will be a lot of intros for him in the next couple of days. And this will also be done actually by different people. So during this process, he's also solidifying all the knowledge he already has about the team. So different people are going to be talking to him. And he usually has his own mentor that he can go to, somebody from his team, either some team member or the team lead themselves.
Okay.
And then they just start working on the task, go one milestone at a time.
So when I worked at Mintos, they told me about their unlimited vacation strategy. That means that they can take a vacation whenever they want. How is it at Bondora?
At Bondora, we have a lot of vacation. If you've gone around in the office, then you've probably seen the posters as well. So we have more than regular annual leave, and there's a ton of different vacations that you can use. But I think what's even more important than just the amount of days that you have is that you shouldn't be punished when you go on leave, because a lot of the companies, just based on law, they pay different salary during vacation time. So you usually lose out on salary. But then Bondora, it doesn't really matter what kind of vacation time you're using, you always get your regular salary that you're gonna get anyways.
Okay.
And on top of that, actually, the schedules are very, very flexible. For example, if I have training sessions during the day, then nobody's making me take any annual leave for it. I can just work my working schedule around that.
I mentioned already before that we always see the same faces at Bondora when we make a visit here. So how long is the average employee at Bondora?
Currently, the average is 2.5 years, taking into account that at 18 people we have onboarded during the previous 12 months.
Okay.
So that kind of brings the average a bit down. The longest runners currently are like 6+ years. So that's why you're seeing all the familiar faces.
Yeah.
Chief Compliance Officer do?
So in general, I oversee that all our activities and processes are in accordance with the regulation. And that all our rules and processes are described and up to date. In addition, I oversee all the audits that we do, we have in the company. We have a lot of them, like financial audit and internal audits on different topics. And also maintain the regulatory relationships with different regulators.
So a lot of work.
Yes, of course, a lot of work.
And And since when do you do that for Bondora?
I joined Bondora in 2013, so it's gonna be 6 years in December. When I joined, there was 13 people working for Bondora, and now there is 64 people in Bondora. So it's quite a growth.
Yes.
It's a big topic for the peer-to-peer platforms in Latvia. So do you see also some challenges here in the future in Estonia or not?
In general, in Estonia, only platforms dealing with consumer credit are regulated. There is no specific national regulation for different type of crowdfunding platforms, such as SMEs or property lending. But the European Council is currently working on the new directive, EU crowdfunding regulation, which will apply for most of the crowdfunding platforms, different types of crowdfunding platforms, and this will harmonize the regulatory framework basically all over Europe. It will help different platforms to enter different markets better. So you don't need to have a separate license in each of the countries, but you still have, like, if you get license in Estonia, you can passport this license. But unfortunately, this does not apply for companies dealing with consumer credit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think some platforms will have problems in the future with the regulation thing?
Yeah, it might be, because it's gonna bring a lot of different obligations how to maintain the company, and the regulatory burden is quite huge. I don't have the final wording because it's still on work in progress. But yeah, for the smaller company, it might be harder to pass the licensing process. But at the view of investor side, it should be like a safety net for the investor. So if the company passes it, it means that they have approved by the regulatory, and they are able to maintain at least some kind of professional activities.
There's some interest cap, so there's also regulation on the loan side. So that you have in some countries an interest cap per day or per month. Is it also a problem in countries where Bondora is operating, so in Spain and Finland?
Yeah, so in Estonia, we are currently in Estonia, Finland and Spain. In Estonia and Finland there is a cap of APR set by the legislation. In Finland, in Spain there is no cap in legislation introduced, but there is some court-based logic that says what the cap should be, and we are trying to just have this cap in our agreements. But in general, it's not an issue for us because it's applicable for all the credit providers in the market. So we are competing with the credit providers in the market. So it's natural that we just follow the local legislation.
Financial goals of Bondora for the next year or for the next 5 years, maybe?
Yeah, so we would like to grow at the similar curve that we have done for the last years. Also, we would like to, as we are ending the year of 2019 in a profit for third year in a row. I think the first year was 2017. So we would like to keep the same stability of the company in upcoming years as well.
Okay.
I'm head of marketing and leading the team of professional marketers, developers, and data analytics in Bondora. So that's what I'm doing here.
Okay.
And I've been in Bondora already 5 years.
5 years?
Yes.
Describe a little bit the marketing mix, like what measures to use, online, offline, organic, and then paid advertisement. Talk a little bit about that.
So we, as mentioned, we love to measure everything, but of course we have like main KPIs for the investor side and also the borrower side. For investor side, you can imagine that most important for us is deposits. So we track which campaigns perform better in terms of average deposit, or also, like for example, sometimes we do campaigns to get new investors on board. So we track only sign-ups. but sign-ups itself, it's not like the real or end KPI for us. So we really work on the conversion rates and on the product and the marketing as well to get as much as possible from sign-up to depositors as well. Okay. So for us, this is the main important.
I think Bondora is the only platform who creates some advertisement for the German TV from the Baltics. So what was your initial thought of this?
Yes, that might be true, and I'm really happy that we have managed to launch our campaigns in German TV. It has been really awesome project for all the marketing members as well. So first of all, creating the TV ads itself, it's something new that we haven't had experience before. And if you look at the competitors and the banks, then I would say they are quite boring, and mostly you can find the guy with a coffee cups or the iPad or something else on the landing pages. So Bondora is different, and
Yes,
the character itself is different, and we thought that we want to make her live. We want to tell the story, who are the Bondora and why she's here. So that's why we came up with the TV ads. So to introduce the Bondora character and be different from others. And that's what makes brand also different, and hopefully it works. Okay. So, and if you know Bondora story, I don't know, do you know at all what's the story behind it? But shortly, it's the character who loves to make all the complicated things easy and help your financial goals come true. And that's what we would like to share in the TV as well. And as mentioned previously, that we love measure everything, so we do also in the TV. So it's not direct response, but as much as possible we try to analyze and measure the non-direct uplift for our investors as well.
Yeah. You are 5 years at Bondora. What do you like at Bondora in your daily working life?
I love working together with like truly professionals. That's one thing for sure. Even from within the marketing team, there's so many different marketers and specialists that I can learn daily something that gives back also for me and my group. Another thing is flexibility and company dynamic itself. So what I mean on the flexibility, then it's like there's no fixed hours. You need to come to the office. Easily, I can work remotely if needed. But as our team is so good, then I prefer to come to office actually. Yeah. But
like a big family, yeah.
Yeah, it's a big family. And from the dynamic side, I would say even that Bondora is like more than 11 years track record, we still act and be in a like startup vibe. Okay. So this is also really important for me that we are not a like big corporate business that everyone is in the corner. So we act as a family. We are really in the startup mode. If needed, we change our focus really fast, and everyone are used to it. No one's like really complaining at all. We're dealing with a like borrower acquisition this week, and now we need to switch to the investor side. Okay. So everyone knows that it's hands-on. We need to keep balance between investors and borrowers, and it's also really interesting for everyone.
Yeah. Chris,
hi,
who is the head of risk at Bondora and mainly focuses on.
Mainly, I'm responsible for credit risk assessment, which basically means that we need to differentiate between good and bad borrowers to make sure that all good borrowers get loan and most of the bad borrowers would not get.
There's always the opinion in Germany that only the people go to peer-to-peer platforms which don't get a loan at a normal bank. So
There is definitely some truth in it, but I think our platform has kind of several other advantages. For example, the speed, and also in Estonia we have relatively low interest rates. We are actually really competitive with banks in terms of interest rates as well. So I think some people actually can prefer us to banks even if they would get a loan from the bank as well.
yeah, maybe regarding the speed, how long it takes if you start the process to get a loan to the payout of the money?
We have a slogan that 1 minute to beat your bank,
Yeah.
which means that you should get the loan in more or less 1 minute. And in most of the cases, it is indeed around 1 minute. Sometimes it can take a little bit longer, but it's still just couple of minutes. So it's really, really fast.
Okay.
Depends how long they take to input their information properly.
Yes, that as well. And sometimes it takes a little bit more time to query data, for example, from external credit bureaus. And so the time is not always 100% constant. But anyway, it's around 1 minute. Sometimes it's even less than that.
If you have an AA-rated loan, what is the smallest interest rate the borrower has to pay?
It's around 7%. I think right now it probably is also depending on the country. I know that in Estonia a lot of borrowers can get 7% interest rate, while in Spain maybe the lowest one is 10 or a little bit higher than that.
Okay.
So it's also depending on the country, but in Estonia it's around 7.
So this is the AA, so the best rated loan.
Yes, yeah. So you cannot get any lower than 7% from us.
Yeah. So otherwise, I can take a loan and invest the money in Bondora Go and Grow.
Yes. Exactly.
The platform with the longest data history. Do you think this is an advantage from Bondora against other peer-to-peer platforms in Europe?
I surely think that it is a significant advantage, really. We are very much data-driven, not only in credit risk assessment, but also what other teams do. For example, marketing is very much data-driven. I don't think that usually marketing departments base their decisions that much on what data says than our marketing team. So we are really lot data-driven, and I think this is just a huge advantage, because if you have a lot of data points, you can always find patterns that are not just available just based on human judgment. Human judgment is always kind of not that trustworthy than objective data points.
Yeah. So that means that you saved all the data from 10 or 11 years ago.
That was yes, really great thing that Teil and other people did back then. That basically they saved down everything possible, even if they did not use it. Yeah. They had this long-term goal already in mind that maybe one day we can start using this data. Yeah. And in case of some data points, this has actually happened, that we have collected this data for 10 years. We did not use it for the first 9 years, but now it has actually proven important and significant for the last year. So this is kind of really nice thing that they kind of foresaw this possibility already back then.
But this data model changed over the years, or is it still the same than in the beginning?
It has changed quite a lot. We update our scoring models on average, I would say, once per quarter or twice per year. And also we have several times updated our pricing algorithm. So this is work in progress almost always. This is not something that is now done and don't need to touch it anymore.
Yeah. Okay. All this data, where is it saved? Is it here, maybe in the kitchen, or is it somewhere in the cloud? Or
it is somewhere in some server, I guess. I don't really know. I think in Netherlands there is some server where we keep it. I'm not sure. You need to ask somebody else who knows more about it.
Okay, so but you don't use some of these popular services like Amazon or Microsoft Azure or something like this?
Not as much as I know.
Okay.
Probably not.
Bondora Go and Grow for yourself?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Do you use also other platforms to learn about their methods and so on?
Bondora?
Yeah.
No, Bondora is the only one. I use Portfolio Manager and also Go and Grow. Most of the money I put into Go and Grow, but I have it also from some time this Portfolio Manager account.
Okay. For the Portfolio Manager, what strategy you use? More the conservative or the aggressive one?
I think I had aggressive. I definitely did not have conservative. I might have kind of been changing between aggressive and this kind of medium or balanced one.
Okay.
So because I'm definitely not risk-averse person and risk neutral, so I try to.
So you are the head of risk. So I mean.
I don't know what that explains or not.
So now we know what that means. Head of risk taker. Okay, yeah, for me that was all.
Yes.
You two could tell us a little bit more about yourself and not what you work on. So how long you work at Bondora and what it is that you do.
Okay, well, as mentioned before, I'm Kairo, and I've been working here for 4 months now, and soon to be the great 5-year run. And mostly, I'm a very positive person, like this morning person, always smiling and happy and trying to be communicative with other people.
But also in the evening, so you are in good mood every time.
Yes. So that's kind of like what people see me.
Okay.
Yeah, my name is Madis. I have been working in Bondora for 2 years now, and I'm mostly running around in the office, never sitting at my position because I have to deal with multiple teams. And, and I am crime in a partner, basically, with Kairo. So we are the tech leads of investor team.
Okay.
So that means you have a team with you from how much people you're working with?
I have 4 developers in my team.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 2 because I always shift all my extra developers to Madis.
Okay.
It's always difficult to grasp. So what does a developer do? So maybe you can tell us a little bit about some recent project or recent app or product that you've been working on and what it is that has a value for the investor when he uses Bondora.
Mm-hmm. Lately, what we worked on during summer was this API slingshot, and how it worked was that before user could had to poll every second, like if something was new on the market, either auction-wise or secondary market. But then we changed it that we notify the user when something new is there, so they don't have to waste their resources or our resources to ask from our system that if something is new there. It's like we're going to update them from our side, and they just get the info and then act upon it. Because if everyone's asking the same info all the time, then there might be this lag, and then someone else might get the info first. So at the moment, we tell them at the same exact time that.
Okay.
So that's something, and the other thing working on is making every page load extra fast, because I've noticed that it's gone down the page load speed, and now it's like to make that if you click on a page, you want it to load instantly, because people don't have time nowadays to wait around for 10 seconds. It has to be like less than a second.
Yeah.
Logging in, seeing your information, less than a second. So that's kind of like super speed Bondora project.
Okay, nice to know. And with you?
I have been working on a tool called Wishlist, where investors can send their own ideas and also report about bugs. And quite recently, like 2 weeks ago, we released this feature called Go and Grow statements. And this idea came from that Wishlist tool, actually.
Oh, good.
So, and it solves like 3 problems what they wanted. One thing is that they want to see how the returns are gained. So we show this information now daily, and also better wirecard setup and transfer without the fee between your own Go and Grow accounts. So for example, if you have multiple, then you can just transfer money between those.
Yeah, so a compliment from me also, because a lot of people wrote me on Instagram that they, when I showed the Go and Grow returns that you can see daily now, and they said, where do I find this? I always have been looking for that.
Nice.
Right. So is it announced, the statements?
Yes.
Yes.
It's online.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's online, public for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's public, but it's not announced to the
Not
investors.
yet,
Yes,
not yet.
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So what I would like to have in the statements also is you can download it like a PDF, right? But not as an Excel file or something like this. So I saw in the PDF that you cannot filter, for example, for the interest, and that's what a lot of investors need. Maybe you can modify there something.
We will add this definitely. It's in the backlog actually.
Ah, okay.
Just a quick follow-up question. For example, you maybe have that idea for the wish list. Do you then just start developing, or do you first communicate with the boss and with other people, or are there like some smaller ideas that you can just do yourself, or other ideas that you have to like ping pong with other people before
Actually, we suggest to add any kind of idea what you have, and all of the ideas are reviewed by investor relationship team.
Okay.
So they will review the ideas, and if it's taken into account, then it will be moved into a development progress on this status.
Cool.
Yeah, because the main thing what we try to understand from the wish list is that what is the problem we're trying to solve.
Yeah.
Like if someone like says, I want this, but you're trying to know what problem the customer is having. It's like, how do we solve it? That's the main, like, what problem.
Yeah, I mean, because basically you can always have some idea and then just do it, and then at the end you notice that it's not really solving anything.
You are developing investment tool. What about yourself? Are you also invested in peer-to-peer lending, or do you use Go and Grow also?
Yeah. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm using Go and Grow, and I have done a few stock trades as well, but mostly using Go and Grow now.
Okay. Do you use any other peer-to-peer platforms, or only Bondora?
Can't really tell.
For me, my journey started in 2015 when my wife went to Investors Club, and then they told about Bondora there. And I was like, oh. And she came up, you have to now start investing and saving money. I was like, okay, I'll try this Bondora. And then like 2 months later, I was working for Bondora because I saw the ad, like, hey, come work here. But it's... and then I got interested in investing as a whole. And then what I learned from there is that don't keep your eggs in the same basket. So for me, P2P lending would be in Bondora, but then for like index funds, it's in a different bank.
Yeah.
And then also like pensions, there is this pension that you can contribute to your own pension. They call this third pillar, I think. I don't know how it's in other countries. So that's kind of, and then the fourth one is like renting an apartment. So like in different aspects of life or of investing. And when Go and Grow went live, then I sold my whole portfolio to Go and Grow. So I'm using it because I like.
So now the egg is in one basket.
Yeah. No, but I sold my current Bondora portfolio.
Ah, okay.
So not the other ones.
Okay,
That would
good.
be. No, I'm not gonna go crazy. But yeah, because I like
the retirement.
I like our other products like Portfolio Manager. But if you want to liquidate them, that might take up to 5 years. Because you will come up on top, but it's still like 5 years. With Go and Grow, it's just nice and fast.
Okay. The question, since you talked about it, like the Portfolio Pro and the Portfolio Manager, isn't it basically for the investor who wants to be a little bit more active than just Go and Grow? Isn't it like too complicated now? Because people always ask, what's the difference between Portfolio Pro and Portfolio Manager? Why just not throw the Portfolio Manager out? Because you can basically do everything with Portfolio Pro, right? Or
yeah, that is kind of correct, but it's kind of like the evolution. what's happening is like first there was like just manual, and then it's like, oh, let's give people some sort of like freedom, or not freedom, but an automatic way to passively invest. But Portfolio Manager was mainly that if you want this kind of return or this, so it's like very simple to use. But then like based on feedback, people also wanted something that's more exact or specific. So we made Portfolio Pro. If we would have included everything in Portfolio Manager, then if the person would open this Portfolio Manager, there would be like lots of filters there.
Yeah.
I want this, and then they would get confused. So Portfolio Manager is like for someone who's just wants to see, okay, I just select this, that's all. I don't want to think anything else about it.
Okay.
And then you keep this possibility for others to, hey, if I want something more specific, I'll just use Portfolio Pro. So they would be like kind of still separate products. They act the same, but just one is highly customizable, and they're not on the same page.
Cool. That's different steps of difficulty. And the hardcore users are using the API.
Yes.
Okay.
But it looks like that the people like Control a lot, and the amount of investors who are using this one is increasing by every month. And I think in October it is already 77% of investors.
Yeah.